Welcome to Yin Yoga. I'm Christy. Let's take a breath. So even though I've been up for a couple of hours, I feel like my face isn't awake yet this morning. So today we're going to talk about flow. We're going to work on meditating on flow. And so something that's going to be about the spine, so getting energy to flow through the spine. We're going to begin with a supported back bend. So you want so this is just a woven, Mexican yoga blanket. You can use a towel. I don't know why that phone always has to make weird noises. So with a towel or a blanket, you can control how thick you're going to make your roll. So you don't have to roll the whole thing up. Maybe you're just going to make a little thin support for your back there. And then you'll do the tail end past your head. You want to bring the little roll, the bump, the lump underneath your shoulder blades. So your shoulder blades are going to come up, your shoulder blades in your head are going to come up. And then this little guy is going to go, this little roll is going to be right below your shoulder blades. So it's kind of like your bottom ribs start lifting up towards the ceiling. And then the other nice thing is that you can adjust. So if you find it's not quite enough or it's a little too much, you can unroll or roll, as the case may be. So I'm not sure. I haven't done it this way in a while, so I'm not really sure how thick I want it to be. So I'm just going to take a stab at it and see how it goes. And then you may want something, because it's January still. Although I did see something about it being 80 degrees in Washington the other day. I don't know. It's definitely not that here. Okay, so we're just going to lie back on it. So you just want to be warm enough. So fuzzy socks, blanket, sweater, something like that to put it over you if it's on the cooler side where you are. So remembering that as we hold still, the body can cool down quite a bit. So it's once you get your prop, and then kind of test it out. So you may have to move around on it a little bit. Give yourself a few breaths. So I don't know, this may be a little too much for me, but it may just be that initial settling in. So this can go either way, right? You can get a little more uncomfortable. You can realize it's a little too much. Yeah, I'm gonna unroll mine a little bit, or it can get a little bit easier. So giving yourself those, several breaths to feel how that is before you completely settle in. It can be really helpful. All right, I'm going to see how that goes. So even if you do this pretty regularly, right, your body can still change. It's not quite enough. All right, I'm gonna give you one more little roll up here. So I'd rather have it be a little too little than a little too big. All right, so you want it to be not so intense that your body's gonna respond in a not so happy way. All right, so hopefully you found your spot here. And then your legs can be straight, or you can do feet on the floor with your knees together. So if you take your feet out wide, your knees can just rest against one another, so you're not holding your legs in place. Or you can kind of flip them the other way. You could do a reclining cobbler's pose with the soles of your feet together. So that is not feeling good for me at the moment. So I'm going to bring my feet back onto the floor. And if you're doing a reclining cobbler's pose, Maybe that's just a few breaths. All right, where's my blanket going? All right, so just coming in, settling into your pose. I'm just feeling what's going on with your back. So mine is feeling, definitely tight. Like there's this sense of stuckness. So our bodies and our minds and our emotions all work together. So trying to free up the spine a bit. And just bring a greater sense of ease into the body. And make life feel like it's a little more in flow. Just observe how your spine is. And again, if it's too much or not quite enough, adjust your prop. So as I'm here, I'm feeling like this is definitely pretty intense, and I may try to just lift up and unroll a little bit. And then I'm just gonna pull myself down a little bit lower. So just noticing the connection between the sensations in your body. How you've been feeling about life lately, if it's been a little difficult, bumpy. And if the body's also tight. And then begin to imagine the energy just free flowing through the spine. You can hear all that thumping. There's a child running upstairs. Right? Kids always have that, ability just to flow and to run and just be fluid. Alright, so we're going to release this pose. So if yours is like mine, and you're rolled up part way, you may be able to just lift up and unroll your blanket or your towel and just let that be flat. You may need to roll to your side and pull it out. But simply releasing that prop, that elevation under your back, and be flat here. So as always, when we hold these poses, there could be still a sensation of intensity after we release out. So letting the body adjust to no longer being in that position. And notice how your spine feels now, your whole back. So it's not like we're gonna, if you have a tight back, so I was noticing how extremely tight my back felt on that. It's like, oh, I haven't done that in a long time. So, okay, gotta add that back into the routine. So it's not like you're gonna suddenly, release out all of the tension in our backs just with that, one little 5-minute pose. But you may start to feel like there's a little bit of a shift, like there's a little bit more freedom, maybe a little bit more ease. So sometimes to me it feels like a sense of lightness in those muscles that we've worked on. And so you just want to notice, wow, like, okay, yeah, I haven't been to the chiropractor for a bit too. So letting that transition, and then coming up slowly into a seated position. So if you're like me, I'm just rubbing my back here. So there's both like this sense of intensity and this little sense of freedom at the same time. It's interesting, an interesting sensation. Good. All right, so let's just do a little bit of shoulders here. So, right, did I say sit? Come up to sit? I think I did. All right, so we're gonna sit. And we're gonna bring the right shoulder up towards the right ear. So just squeezing. The whole back, really the whole body, anything can be tight, but it's like really, it's a lot of the torso, right? Shoulders, hips, back, that tend to get really tight and uncomfortable. So let this right shoulder come up towards your ear, head might lean into it, and then we're gonna take the elbow back and behind us. Just give enough to give a little squeeze. And then we're gonna slowly release, let that shoulder come down, let your head come back up. Let this right arm come all the way down. Let both arms relax. And then we're gonna do it again. We're gonna let that right shoulder come up towards the right ear. So again, it may be just like naturally that your head flows moves into the shoulder. If not, it's just the shoulders coming up. It does not have to lean. And then elbow comes out behind you and up towards the ceiling. So you're squeezing those shoulder muscles. And then let that arm slowly come down, head comes back up. All right, let's do one more time on this side. So we're gonna let right shoulder come up towards the right ear, let the head lean if it wants to, and then the elbow comes behind you up towards the ceiling. You can even take that arm out behind you. You can play with, what feels like the right positioning there. And then arm slowly comes down, head comes back up, let that arm just relax. And then is there a difference between the two shoulders? So again, I can feel just this little bit, like it's a little bit lighter for me, a little more sense of energy flowing through that right side. And then we'll take it to the left. So left ear comes just gently, right? We're not forcing anything. The tighter things are, the more uncomfortable it can be, but we want to keep it relatively gentle. Elbow comes behind you and up towards the ceiling. That feels really good on that side. All right, we're gonna let this shoulder come back down, head comes back up. So let this arm come all the way down. Take a breath. And then we're gonna let shoulder come up towards ear. The elbow behind you and up towards the ceiling. And slowly let that arm come back down, head comes back. And then one more time, shoulder up towards the ear. Elbow out behind you and up towards the ceiling. And then that arm's gonna come on down, head's gonna come back up. Good. So, just notice what you feel. So my shoulders feel lighter, but my back is still tight, right? Like you can feel it like all along my spine. It was like that first pose kind of woke up my awareness of how tight my back is. Okay, we're gonna come onto the belly. Alright, so on the belly, let's just bring the head down, rest your forehead on your hands, let your body adjust to being in this position. Let's see how it is to do a Sphinx pose. So your Sphinx pose might be really gentle. So maybe you're gonna do more like your arms still stacked on top of one another, your elbows a little bit forward. Or you might be able to bring your elbows a little more under your shoulders. But you can still kind of shrink down here. Let your shoulders shrug up towards your ears, but try to pull your shoulders backward. You can try to lift up a little bit more. What you want to be mindful of is how your low back is doing. So letting the whole lower body relax as best you can. So again, if it's too much in your low back, start shrinking down a little bit and see if that helps. You can also take your feet out wider. So if you're feeling a lot of compression in your low back, see if it's better to take your feet out wide. And again, if this pose isn't working for you, just be flat. If you're okay being flat here, even that can be really helpful, really for your hips and your back and your shoulders. So with each breath, imagine that energy flowing more freely through your spine. So we can get often really stuck from pushing ourselves in a certain direction. We set goals and you can get pretty intense, and then really it becomes like an energy block. We get so focused and so intense about achieving, accomplishing our goals, that we're not really letting it flow, and we're not conscious of when the goals really aren't working for us anymore, or how we're moving along the path to get there isn't really working for us anymore. All right, we're going to take it into a flying fish. So we want to flatten out, and we're going to take this right arm and extend it straight out at shoulder height. Your head's going to turn to your left. And you're just going to start to lean your body. So it could be that you're going to be very flat and just lean a little bit to your right side. Or maybe you're gonna roll a little farther. So again, I'm still feeling like my back is tight, maybe because it's still early for me. So I think I'm not gonna go super far here. Sometimes I'm gonna keep my legs straighter. It's a nice stretch on the hip. If you feel like you want to bring that left foot onto the floor behind your right leg, that's going to help to bring the lower body over behind you a little bit more. It's a little more of a spinal twist, but you want to be conscious of what you're experiencing, where you want to go. If you can get hold of your left foot or ankle with your left hand, you can work on releasing some tension out of the quads. And then you want to let your leg drop down. And I usually will just do this part of the time and not the whole time. As it gets a little bit more into that left shoulder. And then slowly come on back to the middle from that side. So you can choose if you want to be flat or if it feels good to come into child's pose. Let your back round out a little bit. that, we're gonna take it to the left side. So from the abdomen, you're gonna extend your left arm out at about shoulder height. And then your head turns to the right. Taking your time, explore. How does it feel on this side? How far are you going to roll to the left here? And then what's happening with your legs? Are you going to keep them straight? Bring that foot onto the floor, or do you want to try to get hold of the foot here? Okay, we're gonna come on out of here. Take your time. And then we're gonna hold hold in a child's pose. So you might want something over you. If you want a prop, if you want a pillow, or you want to fold up your towel or your blanket to have a little prop, you can take your knees out wide and bring a prop here so you're not quite so low in the pose. But you may just want something over you. And so we can do, we're really stretching out the whole spine, the shoulders, and even the hips and the thighs. So as we hold, if you feel like you're having a hard time breathing, bring your arms or get a prop underneath your forehead, just so your nose has a little more space. Okay, so we're gonna lift up slowly. Alrighty, come into a seated position. Shake the legs out. Wiggle your toes. And then we're taking it into wide leg fold. So we're gonna do one leg at a time. We're gonna take the feet out wide. And then we're gonna fold over the right leg. So if you want props under your arms to make it a little more comfortable or something over your leg, you can do it that way too. You can give yourself a little prop, maybe for your abdomen to kind of rest on so you're not so deep in the pose. And then see if you can let your legs relax. Or if you can get a little lower too, sometimes just like bringing a blanket down a little lower for your forehead to rest on. That's the great thing about a blanket or a towel is that you can adjust a little bit the height you want. And observe where you can feel this. So even though a lot of this is legs and hips maybe, I can feel this through my whole back. And then because of the way the leg muscles attach to the pelvis, right, they affect how our backs feel. So trying to breathe out some of that tension. And maybe imagining energy beginning to flow more freely. All the way from your toes, up through the leg, up through the back, to the top of your head. Okay, lifting up from this side. Slowly. And then it might be nice to just draw the feet a little closer together, maybe bounce your knees up and down a little bit. You can also lean back, maybe windshield wipers, feet on the floor, just knee swing however far, right? It doesn't have to be all the way over, it can just be a little swaying. Kind of let the legs go where they will. I always find it interesting that, I guess all yoga, but yin in particular, it's this weird sort of balance of calming, relaxing, and energizing at the same time, because we do start to get this energy to flow through the body, right, as we release out tension. So I'm feeling like this whole mix of like things are sort of waking up and calming down at the same time, which again is kind of all of yoga, right? Is this balancing of opposites, like standing poses, we're sinking down and we're lifting up. Okay, so we're going to take it to the left leg. So again, just your feet out wide. We're going to turn towards those left toes. Boy, this side's so much tighter. So you may have to adjust. This side is tighter or looser. Maybe you're more symmetrical than I am. This side's always tighter for me. Just adjust your pose accordingly, and then work on that sense of letting go. make your way up. And then we're going to roll out onto our backs. So maybe bounce your knees again if you feel like you need to, or windshield wipers, or if it just seems right to come onto your back. On down. Take a couple of breaths on your back. So you could do a little windshield wipers here too. You could do a little knees swaying from side to side. Into a reclining twist. So you can either do a simple twist, arms out at about shoulder height, knees together, legs dropping over to your side, to the right side, or you can do twisted roots. So twisted roots, you're going to bring your left knee and cross it over your right knee, and then let your legs come on over to the right side. And you can put a prop under the legs, so if it's a little too intense, you can prop something under there. And then how's your neck? So you're going to turn your head in one direction or the other. Twist, it can be a little harder to breathe. See if you can relax your abdomen anymore to make that breath a little easier. having twisted roots, you might unwind your legs first. Come back to your back. Notice how you're feeling. Where do you want to be here in this moment? And then we'll take it to the other side. So again, it can just be knees together, and each side might be a little bit different. Or you can bring your right knee, cross it over your left knee. We're gonna let the legs drop to the left side. Arms out at about shoulder height. And then how's your neck? Which position where do you want to turn your head? back to the middle. You need to pull your knees in, let your knees come on in. If you feel like you want to do a happy baby here, reach for your feet. Take it into Shavasana. So again, especially here, you want to be warming up. I'm going to try to become as comfortable as you can be. So legs can be straight, feet can be on the floor, wide, knees resting together wherever your spot is in this moment. And then once you're in that spot, feel your breath. And so imagine what it would feel like to be in flow. Notice how your body is now. Hopefully there's a little greater sense of freedom and like energy is flowing a little more easily now. Just imagining what would the sensations in the body be if your life was just in flow. Take a deep breath. Notice how you are. Maybe wiggle your fingers and your toes. And then if you like, roll to one side. Pause there. And then come on up to seated. Hands at the heart. Nice full inhale. Exhale it out. Notice how you are here. And so my back feels better than the first time we sat up. So just notice what's happening for you. Thank you for sharing in this practice today. Namaste.